Our first winter with Bombadil, Phillip and I had multiple long chats about the navigation desk and how we could modify the area to better fit how we would be using the space. Because we'd be using this area for many things other than just looking at charts, it had to be multi-purpose. We wanted the ability to not only look at those charts, but look at a chart plotter, have access to wind and speed direction, maybe the boat speed. This is where we'd be editing most of our videos, so it had to be kind of an office space as well, and as a bonus, it could also be a flat surface that we could prepare food on. As we began to use the space, our initial vision changed, and we sat down again and adjusted our plans. Here's a bit of a recap, but for a little bit more in-depth, go back to season 1 and take a look at this video here.
So this was our original thought, having it on an angle. I think our goal is, instead of you doing this, we're going to put the VHF over here, and we're going to put a monitor up here that's hooked to a PLC, not PLC, woo, brain fart, that's hooked to a PC that can run a like open source software and still hook into the network, see all of the wind and depth and everything else, and the GPS heading. Got the VHF radio disassembled. I've got the corner mount gone. So I have an old wind speed and then an old, I think it's a nautical mile log. And then I've got a USB charging plug that I need to remove. And then in their place, I will be putting in this, which is probably going to go from all the way back here somewhere. Yeah, so it'll be hinged and it will provide a place to mount electronics that I can then hinge open, and I will divide the space back here out. That'll give me access to the back wall electronics for wiring, for maintenance, if I need to change anything, fix anything in the future. Oh, there we go. Cool. Look at that. You can reset the whole thing. All 8s, 9s, and 0. Alright, so before me is the laminate I just made tonight. It is I think it's a layer of 2 or 3 ounce glass, and then a layer of, I think it's 6 ounce carbon fiber, and then a layer of peel ply on top of everything. And really, it's not a structural laminate at all. It is, this is going to be our, kind of like a backsplash on our nav desk. And I'll have one more laminate that's almost identical to make to this. And we decided, I like to be different, so I like to do stuff a little not traditional. And so I decided, hey, I want to do something other than just like varnished mahogany. So we decided to do carbon fiber, as apparently I just like to do fiberglass work. That's what it seems like. I don't really. It's kind of fun. It's tedious, and maybe that's why I kind of enjoy it, is the challenge of it. So this is, yeah, just going to be epoxied then to the bulkhead or the side, and provide a like uniform backdrop for instruments, outlets, plugs, switches, everything else. And it just provides like a uniform hard surface. It's a working desk, so it is going to take some abuse. We chose an oiled, I think it's a piece of maple for the work surface, and that does take work to maintain. It just takes oil every so often to make it waterproof and still look nice. So this will just be varnished and be very industrial looking compared to the very like wood-faced desktop, and I think that contrast will look really nice. Part of the reason I wanted carbon fiber is the black carbon fiber will go well with all the black instrument bezels that we have. Everything for sailing right now seems to just have black bezels, and so therefore the carbon fiber just means they kind of blend in, and hopefully they're not like in your face standing out. As we went into this project, we originally were gonna like put a little corner to mount the VHF radio on, and then a little chart plotter. And I think as we got into it a year, doing some editing and living on the boat and thinking about stuff and thinking about how do we want to do stuff, I think we kind of realized we don't really need a second chart plotter so much. The one outside is not very far to look over at a glance to see what it looks like. That kind of pigeonholes you into a certain like archetype for chart plotting stuff. And then because we have the YouTube stuff, right, as you're watching, that involves a lot of video editing. And as part of that, like a second monitor would be nice. And so I think instead of having a diagonal piece, we're gonna square it back off. And I think we're gonna install a portable external monitor that can slide up and down as part of the forward section of the nav desk. And with that, we're thinking about trying to, well, this is me, Heather's not the electronics person on the boat, installing like a PC and trying to run like an open source or a PC version of like navigational software. Still not fully thought out that, but really it's the monitor for the video editing. That would be really nice. Or if I can do work from home or something at times, like it's nice to have the monitor there as a second screen. So yeah, we're excited about that part. It did change all the plans. I haven't got far enough that I was going to start laminating carbon fiber for the little piece there, and I was like, wait, is this really what we want to do? And yeah, change that around. So alright, so I have one coat of varnish on, and it's cured, dried, varnish dries, epoxy cures. So I have one coat of varnish on, and it is dried. So now it's time for the second coat. And I'm also doing a little test sample for Heather. She works at Marina, and she likes to have little test samples to show people. So yeah, I'm gonna apply the next coat. Yeah, now that I have everything else cleared out, I'm gonna set these kind of in their place. So you can see roughly what it would look like. Alright, so that's what it would be. Visually, I think it looks pretty good. I think I'm gonna call Heather and see what she says. Alright, how will this fit? It looks like it might be close.
Okay, enough chatting, let's get to some fiberglass.
So, as you can see, there's a lot of holes. There used to be 2 instruments, USB plug, and then I cut this all out because I was going to put the VHF radio here. Now that we're changing stuff, I'm going to put in a hinged like door panel that is essentially going to go probably about right here. Move. Well, these fit in right. Should fit in, but it doesn't. Where is it tight? It's tight up here. That'll work. Alright, so I just templated it out and cut this piece of carbon fiber, and it's going to go kind of like this. It's going to sit better because the hinge won't be there, but so that'll be the other side. So I'm going to pull this door I just put on off, and then when that's off I should be able to trace this shape on the back side. So then I can carefully cut it, so I can then glue the cutout piece onto the door. And that will allow me to progress further on this project. So electronics will live here. I think we'll have some like USB plugs up here on the top part. So but now, I just need to pull this door back off, which I just put on. And you can see I patched the upper and lower sections. I'll just have to sand them smooth. And that will just be glass. Well, it'll be, the epoxy will hold the carbon fiber plates and no one will ever know. Except everyone that's watched this video. So I traced on the back of this. And yeah, you can see the line. So now I need to square it all up, and then I can cut it carefully. That way I can glue it on here. We are going to point an arrow on this to point up. Let's see, it goes this way, so arrow up. And arrow up. So we're mounting a VHF radio, and then this is a Victron display, and then this is just a wind instrument display. So those are the displays we're mounting right now, and then the fist mic for the VHF radio will get mounted up here. So I've kind of laid it all out. Now I need to drill my holes and then cut everything out. Alright, and I don't remember if it's I think it's a musical or a play or something, but it says all I ever needed to know I learned in kindergarten. And well, so I drilled the holes, and now I get to play connect the dots. So I'll line up the edges, take my marker, mark out my lines, play connect the dots, and then I get to cut the lines. Alright, so I have drilled my pilot holes for the Victron display. I still need to drill the big holes. Shoot, I forgot about that. And then I've cut my other holes for the VHF radio and the display. So for here I just need to drill some couple holes for cable management. First thing, we're gonna mount our Victron display bracket. And making sure to stop all these short just in case they do punch the back side and I don't put holes in my nav desk. I've done silly things like that before. There we go. So the bracket is mounted. Now we're going to go to the radio. Put the cables through. Make sure it's there's a little bit of play, so we'll make sure it's so I want it to, I'm probably going to offset it just so that these two line up just for aesthetics reasons. Yeah, so this is what it's gonna look like. So I got these, they're pretty darn close to being lined up and they're all square. It looks pretty nice. I'm happy with it. We'll get the, gotta get the fixed mic mounted over here and that'll be it. So here's the, I'm just mounting the instrument panel so I can start on wiring. So yeah, I still need to do the carbon fiber on the back of it, but for the moment, this is at least in, and I can then finish wiring all of the components in. And so really what I was trying to do is route all the wires so that there's a single kind of like hinge point back here, but all of them are clean and neat, so when I open and close the door it doesn't kink, pinch, or cut any of the wires. Alright, so we're putting on the carbon fiber piece around it. The camera just keeps cutting out on me, so we'll see how this goes. We got it all clamped up. And then we'll have to probably clean up the edges so that this slides in nicely. And we'll probably paint all the edges, all these edges black, so they just kind of blend in. You don't see them sticking out.
Overall, we're pretty excited how this is turning out. I don't know what the aesthetic is that we're trying to capture. Modern, maybe a bit industrious, but with some natural materials and organic lines. Every boat has its own character, and while Bombadil is a pretty tough and gritty racer made out of plastic and metal, he slices pretty cleanly through the waves, at home on the water.